Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the face shields versus masks versus wearing both of them? I know that most people on this call should know that the face masks are really only effective when both the server and the person they're serving are wearing them. And hopefully they're also 6 feet apart, and hopefully one of those people doesn't have COVID. So, but what would you suggest with respect to one versus the other, neither or both?
I can start off. We talked about this yesterday and thought maybe because we have some publications on this as well, but we've been maintaining from the beginning that WorkSafe BC is not mandating the use of any kind of mask or respirator at this present time. Now that comes through, that's changing. And it's changing not that we're requiring it, it's changing as if it has to be maybe perhaps a consideration if your ability to maintain that 2 meter distancing can't be achieved, and your exposure is high, which means it's a repeat exposure within that 2 meters. There may be a consideration for use of a type of mask. The face shields, generally, I'm seeing more in food production, poultry processing facilities, where people are basically working almost cheek to cheek. And that's a protection for splashing and whatnot. So when we're looking at a face covering, there are 3 general styles that you will see. You will see the cloth style mask, the surgical style mask, and then the respirator, this N95 or P100 type of respirator that you'll see in healthcare and in other industries. So if you look at the mask is to generally, unless you are fit tested properly, is only going to prevent exposure to from a person wearing it to somebody else. So you're not necessarily wearing the mask to protect you. So things to think about we're looking at the cloth masks, if that's an option, which are those reusable ones. They're being manufactured with lots of cool little designs on them and whatnot. Taking care of those is critical. So you have to look at cleaning them. If they get soiled, you have to change them out. How do you wash them properly? I've got a lot of fruit packing places now that are going to a different color mask every day. So they know they're not using the Monday mask on Tuesday. They're not using the Tuesday mask on Wednesday. So they're color coded. Again, they're working close in proximity to each other, so they are using it. The surgical masks are single use only. The N95s or P100s that you're seeing out there, we're recommending those only be used in healthcare, primarily because of the short supply, and the cost is more. And unless you've been fit tested and understand how to use it properly, it's no more effective than the cloth mask or the surgical mask. Now, that being said, we have some things on our website. We have the selection and using of masks, which is a 2-pager, and it gives some really good information. And we also have a how to use a mask to prevent the spread of COVID in multiple languages. So those of you that have the vineyard side of things with soft workers, or you may have English as a second language staff, you can print it off in multiple languages, and it just shows how to use it. The critical thing with masks is you're depending upon them too much to protect yourself, and you're not thinking about how you're wearing them and how you're handling them. So if the outside is soiled, are you touching them with your bare hands, and are you transferring material? So it's just like gloves. Just because you have them on doesn't mean you're protected. It's just a barrier. So again, we're not requiring them, but you have to look at what point are you so close to your coworkers or your clients that you may need to implement something like that. If you're close to your clients, you may be requiring your clients to be wearing them to protect the workers. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Jen's got any additional information.
The one thing I did want to say is that one of the things with masks that you need to be very aware of is that for somebody who's not used to wearing a mask, the tendency is to adjust the nose and adjust the ears and play with it, and oh, it's bugging me, it's itchy, right? So what am I doing? I'm touching my face, right? And we all know that if you're touching your face, there's a potential to get that contaminated surface into your mucous membranes, into your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And those are points of infection, right? So you're now potentially taking a contaminated surface, whether it be the bar, whether it be your hair, whether it be whatever, and maybe you've touched that and now you're touching your face because you're adjusting your mask. It just, I guess what I'm saying is that masks can actually lead to more risk of infection in some cases if they're not used properly, if people aren't hyper aware of what they're doing when they have them on. And like Steve said, we rely on them too much, right? We need to remember that upside down triangle and rely on the top, which is the social distancing, right? So if you're a fan of Bonnie Henry like I am, the social distancing and the hand washing are the keys. The masks are
way down.
I'm gonna say they're there to make us feel a little better, but I don't know that they're actually doing a lot.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. They are way down.
Sandra, just one quick reminder too, that when you're if you're expecting a worker to cover their face with something, if they're suffering from a medical condition such as asthma or COPD, that restriction of the breathing can put them at risk of serious complications. So that's something we need to be aware of as well.
Right.